Today, I would like to talk about something called FlowJV, the library I've developed for data validation and data collection. So we all know about forms, right? So in any web application, one of the most important thing is a form. Like they are very vital to any kind of application. Through forms, we can collect data from a user and do some kind of processing and send it to the server and stuff. And even then, creating forms is one of the hard parts in our entire web application lifecycle because there are a lot of things that we need to take care of when we try to create forms. Like we need to have validations, we need to make sure that all the data is properly taken care, user experience, UI. I mean, there are a lot of stuff that we need to take care in parallel, and to make everything work perfectly is something really hard. And to solve this problem, we've got tons of libraries for that. And FlowJV, the one I developed, is just like one another solution. And let me tell you like why exactly we need I have come up with this solution and what is the motivation behind it. So like let's suppose we have a programming language, the one we write every day. In a programming language, we execute instructions one after the other. Like we run statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and then 4, and then 5, right? So program is written in top down fashion where we execute instructions one after the other. And then we have got conditionals where we say if some condition is met, only then execute some statements, and if it is not met, execute other statements. So this is something that we are very familiar with, where we run instructions top down fashion. So in a programming language perspective, we've got a lot of other constructs as well, like if condition, switch cases, for loops, functions, and we can use all these constructs to create as complicated programs as possible. So in the same way, I have taken the same semantics and applied it to creating forms, right? What if we can apply the same semantics that we are looking in a programming language and apply it in the context of collecting data from users in form, like from a user in a web application? So that is what FlowJV is all about. So in FlowJV also, just like we have in a programming language set of instructions and then conditionals, in FlowJV, we write instructions saying, all right, collect property 1 of an object, and then property 2, and then 3. Like, I mean, just like we execute instructions in a programming language, in FlowJV, we give instructions asking, the library to collect information one after the other. In just in the same way we have if conditions in programming language, we can also tell instruct saying that uh, if some condition is met, only then collect another property, otherwise collect some other set of properties. So just like in programming language, we've got different semantics in FlowJV. Like you got if conditionals, switch cases, validations, arrays, and there is something called JSON expression. So the way I look at FlowJV is just like a programming language alternative to data collection and validation. So let me quickly show you like what exactly I mean when I say, it's just like another programming language. So in FlowJV, we create form by defining our data requirements. So the schema that we write is going to be a single source of truth for our data requirements, validations, and everything from UI till UX. Everything is going to be embedded within the schema. And one more thing to notice, the schema is common for both UI as well as data requirements. That means the UI related configuration, like whether the input type is going to be password or any other nitty-gritty details of UI, can be embedded within the schema itself. So it is a unified schema for both data requirements as well as UI. So as I have already told you, like we define requirements as a set of instructions. So in FlowJV, we define something called flow schema, where I define type as object. And just like I told, we are going to give instructions one after the other, like just like in programming language, they all go into properties field. Like we define properties saying, all right, I want to collect an information of object from a user. Let us take an example of a registration form. So this is the details of a registration user, right? So what I'm trying to say is, to flow schema, like to the library I've defined. So we tell step by step that I would like to collect information of name, and then age, and then gender, email, password, confirm password, and then is the user employed or not. So this is just like a programming language where we execute instructions one after the other. We are giving data requirements one after the other. So the way it will show up the moment we define this is going to be like this, right? So just like in programming language, it's just for forms. And now once this is defined, we can tell like each different data requirement has got different type of data that we expect out of it. Like let's suppose I want age to be of type number, gender to be of type enum, which is one of male or female, and then is employed is going to be boolean. So based on this, the UI is also going to get reflected. Like if it is boolean, then it's going to be a checkbox, and if it is of type enum, then it's going to be of type drop down. So this is all fine, but these keys are something that are data related, right? But when it comes to uh, showing to the user, we want to show a relevant useful information. Like this name key doesn't make sense. Like user needs to show uh, UI related information. So for that, we can create labels to all of this data requirements saying, all right, for data key name, I want to show the label as name, and then for age, like all the relevant labels we can define. And then those are going to become our information now, like labels. And then there is UI related information as well. Like let's suppose by default string gets displayed as a text field, which is not desired. This should be of type password. As I told, FlowJV is about having your data requirements as well as UI related configuration put at one single place. So I define UI related information by saying that I want UI to be of type password, right? In which case I can see that it's going to be reflected as a password field. And then I can define validations. Like let's suppose for confirm password should be, I mean, the validation for confirm password is that confirm password should match password. So for every data requirement we give, we are going to have something called validations field where we can list out list of validations that we want to perform on that specific field. So in this case, confirm password. So in confirm password, we're going to say that, all right, for validations, I want to execute this logic where I want to make sure that data.password, data is nothing but the object, the value we are collecting from the user. In this case, password is going to be stored in data.password, and that password should be equal to the ref. Ref is nothing but the property under validation. So with this defined, now we can see that if I type something different, and because confirm password is not equal to password, it immediately throws me an error. So like let's suppose if I say hello and then hello, though those both unless and until they are equal, it's going to throw an error. And then again, let's suppose I write some password, and if I submit it, it won't submit unless and until I enter confirm password, right? So all the validations happen at the time of submission as well. And then let's suppose I want to have an if conditional, just like in programming language. where we write, so if some condition is met, only then I want to execute some instructions, otherwise not. In FlowJV also we can do the same. Like if some condition is met, so like if itself is like a statement where I say this is the condition that if data is employed, then I want to collect these properties. And in the same way, if it's true, then we are showing these properties. And in the same way, we can define something called else, sorry, false, where the condition becomes false. We can define some other properties. So that is about FlowJV in terms of data requirements. And then so there is one thing that is missing, that is in enum we need to define labels, label male and then label female. Yes. And then you can define UI type of this to be of type radio. So because this library is written in TypeScript, it's going to give you tons of information if you use TypeScript. And if not, then it's going to be a bit problem. Like let's suppose this is of type enum, right? So the moment I type it wrongly, because this is written in TypeScript, it's going to give you a better type checking and stuff. So even without TypeScript, you can always do it in JavaScript like this. So the syntax is for TypeScript, so don't get confused with this. So this is about requiring your data requirements within a schema, and that schema defines how the UI needs to be created and stuff. Now, creating this schema is fine. So how do we show this UI, right? So for that, all we do is there is this FlowJV form that gets imported from FlowJV React material, from which we are going to say, all right, so this is the form I want to render, and the schema for all the fields that need to be shown over here is flow schema that is imported from this file. And then auto flow is nothing but it is a way of it facilitates us to do some crazy stuff. Like let's suppose I will say key to be of type name, right? In which case only name is going to be shown. All right. It's not key, sorry, path. Yeah. So you can define your own layout using this. So because we define schema as a set of instructions, just like this, one after the other, you can always say auto flow, in which case all your data requirements are going to flow in a form one after the other, just like that. But if you want to define your elements in such a way that you want to have name over here and then password to be on top of name or whatever, then you can always break this flow and then create your own flow. And if you define objects, nested objects, like a flow schema by default expects object, and a property itself can be of a nested object. Like you can say that this is of type object, and then you can say the key that this object is going to have is like nested object, and then you can say properties are going to be type string, and this is of type you know key nest another object or whatever, and then you can define label as another. Now this will have another field which is something nested, right? So if I define multiple properties over here in terms of an object, you can also always auto flow based on that. Like another, let's see what happens if we define two keys with the same, two properties with the same key. In that case, when I type a value, they both get reflected, right? So the thing about auto flow is it says I want to auto flow the entire object. So that is what this auto flow without any parameters mean. Now, if I define all the rest of the objects in profile information, like I would say, I would like to have all the profile details in this object, and the properties are going to be so these are all the properties of the profile information. Yeah, these are all profile details, and this is another nested object, right? So the reason for this auto flow stuff is, now if I can say auto flow and the path to be of personal details, it just renders that part of the form. It's profile details, right? So you cannot see that there is no information about this nested object. So we can always create, I mean, we can always move that into a custom layout. Like let's suppose I will create another division and then have an auto flow defined with path is equal to nested object, and then I will set some style which is completely different. Margin top colon 100 and then background color red. So if you can see, like each part of the property is like you can define it in auto flow in whatever way you want to. Like this facilitates customization, and if you don't want customization, we can always have it at auto flow, and it just flows seamlessly. So one thing is, you can go as complicated with requirements as possible, uh, and it's completely possible. Like let's suppose in flowjv.js.org, the website on which this is hosted, you have something called playground. So here you have got examples. So on a simple form is nothing but an object, I mean a schema with nothing but an empty object. So this is directly a submit button, right? Now let's suppose I want to have a simple form. Now this is how it looks like. So we are defining all the schema, and then accordingly this gets rendered. Now there is also something called if condition, right? So if some condition is met, only then I want to have some keys defined. Otherwise I don't want other keys to be defined. So that is if condition. In the same way, we've got something called nested if condition. Like if condition is met, then we're going to show if statements, and within that if statement we are going to have another if, like it's nested. So just like in programming language where we go as complicated as possible, these are the basic constructs of flowjv. Like whether it is if condition, switch case statements, or anything, you can just go as complicated as possible. And then you got something called switch case. So as it sounds, it's simple. Like you define some value and then you can always switch it based on switch cases. So another, so why do we need this? Like why do we need this, a completely different way of representing data in terms of flowjv? So the reason being is, I would say there are like couple of reasons. Number one is, all your data requirements are not tied with the UI anymore. So all your data requirements, whatever you've got, are everything stored within a schema, and that schema defines how the UI should be there and how it should be validated in the server side. So this schema is common for both server and UI. So UI uses all this UI part of information, and server side it just ignores it and validates the data. So it's a unified schema for both UI and server side. So this gives us an ability to not duplicate the code, but just keep it in one place. So the other second reason why this is uh, neat is because in flowjv we have something called JSON expression. There is this same concept within Mapbox as well. So the validations can be defined in terms of an array representation, which is in itself serializable. So you can look into the documentation if you want to look into this further. So the idea is, why we need our schema to be serializable is because we can store it in database, or we can create some tools like where we can develop forms dynamically. That is also another possibility. And third one is because when I want to create a form, I don't want to worry about UI very much in most of the requirements. I want to give the data requirements and I want to have a form. And that is what FlowJV provides. Like you just take your data requirements, put it in, and everything is taken care for you. So that is another reason why FlowJV is why I created FlowJV in specific reason. So the constructs you've got can be nested to whatever complex requirements, and it always scales. And there is also something called arrays. Working with arrays in web applications is real headache. So FlowJV gives you an ability to define something called arrays, where you can define, I want to have something called array, and then I want to have each item within that array of type of type string. Like let's suppose I want to collect information about and then I would define key for this array as hobbies. Now I can add hobbies as many as I want to. Like I will have a hobby 1, and then I have got hobby 2. So like you can define all of this stuff within FlowJV. And now if I submit the data, it shows that, all right, the hobbies I've got is this. And now you can even go crazy where you can say an array itself contains some arrays, right? Array of arrays. And if you type array, what happened? Got it. Maybe I missed this out, but yes, you should be able to do it. I think I messed up something. I'll fix that. So yeah, that is about arrays. So, and another important thing about FlowJV is the other important point that I want to mention is, so let's suppose I've got an if condition, right? So now I will enter some information called like whatever. And then I've got this data where if condition is true, this is the key in which this Boolean flag is stored. And then I've got this Andhra Pradesh. Now, if I enter else condition with some other data, now if I submit it, I'm only going to get else data, right? Now, if I toggle between the previous data, that data is also going to be persisted. Like even if you go with different conditions, the data is always going to be present, but at the time of submission there is going to be some step called normalization, where all the rest of the data that you're not trying to collect using this schema is going to be ignored. So yeah, so this is about FlowJV, and I have written the documentation about it much further on the docs, where you can see all the details of how you can use it and stuff. Yeah, so if you like it, I would suggest you to go into my repo and then spread the word about the same. That's it. Any questions, anyone?